Hi, Donna. Thank you, John. Hey, Carolyn. Hello.
Hi there, Deb.
How are you?
I'm fine. Just got back from a walk around the block, so ready to roll.
Good for you. That's what I have to do this evening. Take a walk. That sounds really good. It must be nice where you are.
California?
Always nice there, huh?
Well, not always. I live in Modesto in the Central Valley, so it gets hecka hot. So then you don't have a choice of going in the midday, but not complaining today.
Nice. Good. Me either. It's beautiful here. Hey, Laura.
Hi.
Did you get my email?
A new one today?
Yeah, let's talk after this class.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks. Thanks. Is this Sandra? Hi, Sandra. Colin. Hello, Sandra. Sandra's from.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks.
My office is a mess. Ignore all that.
No, that's okay. I'm going to turn the volume down here a little. Okay. And there's Donna. Hello, Donna. Hey, Carol Sue.
Hi there. I see you've been busy. I looked at all the new classes. Oh my goodness, you burnt the candle at both ends and the midnight oil.
Well, thanks for recognizing that because I could easily take a nap right now. But that's not true. You're here. I would never nap.
No. Well, the thing is it doesn't look like you need toothpicks yet for your eyelids.
No, not yet. Nope, it's all fun. It's all good. I was just working on spice recipes, so.
No, I saw that. I signed up for that class already.
I thought you would. Okay, well, while everyone is coming in, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so we can get started. This is one ambitious agenda. I have to say, and I think maybe some of you have been here more than once, but this was one of the first classes that I did, and wow, I just packed it jam full. So I'm going to ask you as we get started what you're specifically really interested in so that I can move to those things, spend the time where you're interested, and maybe skim over some of the things that are of lesser interest to you. So I'm happy to hear why you decided to come. So first things first, before we get started, let me just introduce myself and first ask if there's anyone here who's brand new to Get Set Up or who is brand new to my class. You can just unmute yourself and let me know if you're new to my class or even new to Get Set Up. Anyone?
I'm new.
You're new? Are you new to my class or Get Set Up?
New to your class.
Okay. Well, welcome, Donna. I'm glad you're here. I hope this will be the first of many.
Yep, I think so.
I'm new to your class as well, Deb.
Okay, Carolyn.
So,
good to know.
But not to Get Set Up.
Okay, well, good.
But I did learn something new today about requesting replays.
Oh, you did? You learned that you could request the recording at Help It Get Set Up?
No, not about that. Oh, you have to be, I have a class coming up at 12:32 and you have to be in the class 40 minutes to be eligible for the replay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I said, I'm not somebody that likes surprises. I was a school administrator and a teacher for 33 years, and the kids would tell you that.
Okay, well, sorry for that surprise. Okay, well, my name's Deb Livingston. For those of you who are new, I am your guide here in York, Pennsylvania. And my background is in business, learning, and organizational development. I was a manager for a lot of years. I was also a consultant. I did a lot of leadership coaching, training, and so on. So this is a natural transition, but a good one for me because I get to talk about things that I'm super interested in, like healthy eating. I'm an organic gardener, so that comes into play a lot because I make foods that are I make dishes that are from Whole Foods, so I like to share that. And I really enjoy when I have people like you coming to classes who are interested, really interested in learning. So it's a lot of fun. And I would like to introduce you to John there, our technical support person. If you are having any issues whatsoever, he's there and he's watching the chat. He's there to take care if there's any problem. You can meet him there in chat. So thanks for joining, John, and thanks for helping out. You may have noticed, well, you've been here at Get Set Up for a little while, but for those of you who are relatively new, our platform is a little bit different in that we are very interactive. So we learn well from each other and when we do have a chance to share information. So ideally, we can see you and your camera is on. And ideally, you're feeling comfortable enough to unmute yourself and ask questions or make comments or share your own ideas as we go along. And all I would ask is that when you're finished speaking, you go ahead and mute yourself again, because that way we keep extraneous background noise out of the conversation, and that would be great. You can request a recording after this class, and you do that by emailing help@getsetup.io. And that's the email address, the go-to email address for just about anything, including feedback, or if you would like to be an interest group host, any kind of number of things, you can go to help@getsetup.io. We'll look at that later at the end of the class. I want to say hello to everybody who's out there by live stream. This class is being sent out through live stream. And so welcome to you all. And I would invite you to register for a class and come and join the conversation. And lastly, anything that I ever share with you, and we talk about products, we talk about recipes and websites we go to quite a bit. Anything that I share with you is just because it may be of interest to you. It's not because Get Set Up nor I have any kind of financial relationship with any of those entities. So here's my really ambitious agenda today. We're going to talk about what is healthy eating. And specifically, I would like to know from you what that is. Why is it that you came here today? What are you seeking to do? And then we're going to talk about some tips to eat healthy for less. I have some, I bet you have some too. So you can share yours. Again, you can unmute yourself and then share that way, or you can have conversation in the chat. That would be great. We're going to talk about some recipes for eating in season, because that's a way to eat healthy as well as save some money. And I'll share some recipes for eating less meat as well. And finally, I do have one last set of recipes for tasty homemade treats. And so we'll see how far we get. In any case, you're going to get an email after the class that will have recipe links in the email and that you can follow. So even if we don't go through all those recipes, you will have them to check out. Okay. So now I said that I was going to ask you, and so I will. What is it that you are specifically interested in? If you could take one thing away today, one specific thing away today, what might it be?
How to eat on a shoestring. Not really, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, save some bucks. Okay. Yeah. It's getting more expensive, isn't it? My gosh, every time I go to the grocery store, I feel like things have gone up, not by a little bit, but by a lot.
No, it sure has. It sure has.
Yeah. Yeah. Sandra.
Yes, I was wondering, can you, oh, you can hear me. Okay. Just how do you eat like local foods? Wow, and the timing, and we're very fortunate to where we live right now. Going forward, there's a lot of stuff, but how to eat seasonally, with some of the local stuff that's available, and within a budget as well.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Sandra. One of the things that I thought about too, because of, oh, you're still speaking. We're having a little lag on your connection there, Sandra. So if I cut you off, I'm sorry. Was there anything? So you were talking about eating seasonally and eating locally and eating inexpensively. So one of the things Sandra and I share in common is that we live here in York, Pennsylvania, amidst a lot of agriculture. So we do have access to those things. And that is a great way to eat healthy, and by eating local, we can really find out how our food is grown. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And Laura, you had your hand up.
Yes, Deb, do you know, I'm sure there's been a study, do you know what it is? What does the average American pay a week for an adult to be fed adequately?
Wow, that's a great question. And I do not know that answer right now. And I will bet you that that answer, whatever it would be that we would find right now, would be incorrect at this point. We have seen so much food inflation just in the last few months that I'm pretty sure that that number would be in error. But that's a really good point. I'm going to make a note of it because I think that would be very interesting to delve into.
We'll all be Googling.
Yes, we all will be Googling. Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's all educate ourselves on that. Okay, I'm just making a note. All right. So other things that you'd specifically like to get out of this class, anything?
There's a recommendation. Someone want fresh ideas to spark a healthy menu.
Fresh ideas for a healthy menu? Is that what-
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll give you some ideas. And I do have a lot of background information. So we're going to move forward because we're going to get through that so we can get to the recipes as well. But I want to start with what is healthy eating. And I want to ask this question, and I just want you to put it in the chat right now or unmute yourself. What does healthy eating mean for you? What does that really mean when you think about it? Just throw words out.
Vegetables.
Eating more vegetables. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, you need some ideas, it seems like. So let me give you some. And I'm looking at the chat real quickly here. Fresh whole food without preservatives, things that are good for the body, nutritionally balanced. Yep. Okay. Yeah, all those things I would agree with. And today what I'm going to say that from my perspective I'll talk about is that it follows some dietary guidelines. You know, the government doesn't always give us things that we can use, but sometimes comes through with some things that are helpful. And one of the things that may be helpful to us now is this set of dietary guidelines. I'm going to send this to you. It makes great bedtime reading if you have insomnia, but it also gives you some really good tables that you can take a look at. And we're going to take a look at one right now. So this is the whole document. It comes out every 5 years, and it is very comprehensive and taking a while to load. So we're just going to take a look at one of the tables here just to give some sense of what the nutritional guidelines are for us at our age right now. So if you take a look here on this table, you'll see this is by age and sex. And I'm going to just point out the female column here for 51 and over, males over here at 51. We see that women should be getting about 1,600 calories a day.
Deb,
About
Deb,
2,000.
Deb,
Yes.
on the table, we only see daily nutritional goals, macro and macronutrients, minerals, and vitamins. That's it.
Oh, really? You can't see this rest of this page?
No, only the first 2 columns.
Okay, let me move this over again. Can you see anything differently there?
No.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. Let me try this. Any better?
No, now we can see 3 columns. That's it.
Wait, I can see them. I can see them. So maybe she's got an eyesight or computer problem.
Can you see it now?
No, I fixed it.
Okay, all right, good. So here we are, 1,600 calories. I'm not going to read this whole thing to you. I just want to point out a few things. There are three macronutrients that we need in our diet every day. And those are proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. And it's helpful to have a guideline for what percentage of our diet each of those should be. So protein should be 10 to 35% of our daily calories. So roughly a third of our daily calories should be in protein. That comes from lean meats. It comes from beans. It comes from even a grain called quinoa. So there are a lot of ways to get protein that don't necessarily include meat, but you do need to be mindful that you're looking for protein. It's a little harder to get. You have to look for it if you're not eating meat. So 10 to 35%, and probably I would say on the side of the 30 to 35%, because as we get older, we need to keep our muscles strong, and protein is a good way to keep those muscles strong. And when it comes to carbohydrates, 45 to 65% of those calories should be in carbohydrates. But there's a big caveat to that. We tend to eat the wrong carbohydrates. We tend to eat what are called simple carbohydrates that get digested and absorbed very rapidly in our system, which can lead to a spike in insulin. And that over time can lead to prediabetes and type 2 diabetes. So when we eat things like white bread or lots of sugar in baked goods or ice cream, things like that, we are getting the wrong kind of carbohydrates. The right kind of carbohydrates are what are called complex carbohydrates, and they include a lot of fiber so that when they are eaten by us, they break down very slowly and over time. So our body doesn't get overwhelmed like that. Our pancreas doesn't get overwhelmed to shoot out all kinds of insulin. It just gradually breaks it down, and that's a good thing. The fiber is a very important thing because it also keeps our system clean, and that can help keep inflammation at bay. So the right kind of carbohydrates, whole grains, and vegetables with fiber are all good choices. So are beans, vegetable family. And then when it comes to sugar, and sugar is considered a simple carbohydrate, we should be getting less than 10% of our calories. And I'll give you a simpler rule of thumb, less than 6 teaspoons of added sugar in our diet each day. So to give you a relative sense of that, there are 16 teaspoons of sugar in a 20-ounce bottle of Coca-Cola. So less than 6 teaspoons for women, less than 9 for men in added sugar. Those are the things that are not inherent in a whole food. Like it doesn't count for an orange, okay? Because an orange, when you eat it, has the fiber that you want that slows the digestion of that fruit down. So that's all very good. But drinking orange juice, on the other hand, not so good because we've removed the fiber there. And then we have also concentrated the juice. Think about how much juice, how many oranges a glass of orange juice would require. And you start to see that becomes a too sweet addition to the diet if you do it regularly. You just need to account for it and know what your limits are. The last grouping is lipids, or what we would call fat. And, fat is also, like protein, up there a pretty high percentage. About a third of our calories should be in fat. Does that surprise you?
Nope.
Nope. So some years ago, we were being taught to really limit our fat a lot. And there wasn't a lot of distinction except that we should get rid of animal fats. So as it turns out, saturated fat isn't the best thing for us, and we do need to keep our intake of saturated fat to probably less than 23 grams a day, but it's not the killer that it was once thought to be. There are some other nuances around that. So we just need to keep a balance in that, or keep it below a certain amount. And moreover, we need to include some other fats that are really good for us, and they would be the omega fatty acids, specifically omega-3 and omega-6. We get omega-6 a lot in our diet. It's pretty accessible. Omega-3 is a little more, you have to be a little more thoughtful about getting that into your diet. So we'll talk about ways to do that. And so we want to really boost those fats, and they are super important for us. We need those fats in our diet. And when it comes to a few other things, I'll just mention sodium. Sodium is something that we also need in our body, so we don't want to eliminate it. But as a guideline, we should be getting less than 2,300 grams of sodium, milligrams of sodium in our diet per day. That equates to less than a teaspoon. And some guidelines will say about 1,500. So that's something to think about. And where does most of our sodium come from in our diet? Anybody know?
Processed foods.
Yes, actually very much so. Canned foods, lots of sodium in those. So some of them can be rinsed, some can't. So this is where the eating whole foods comes into play. And that gives us more opportunity to season food at the table if we would like. So a healthy diet emphasizes fresh, whole, and minimally processed food for that very reason. And it also means eating high quality food, not just eating whole food, but look for food that is grown well. And this is what Sandra had brought up earlier. You know, can you eat locally? Can you find the freshest food that hasn't been transported across the country? Can you eat seasonally? Because when you're eating seasonally, you have more choices locally. You have choices for produce that has just been picked today or yesterday instead of produce that was picked last week. And so that gives you a much higher nutritional value. And as well, when you know your farmer, if you have a farmer who is growing organically or growing pesticide free, because a lot of times or even regeneratively, if those farmers are growing with best practices, they're going to have healthy soils, and healthy soils have high nutrient levels. Right now, lots of our agricultural soils across the country are depleted, and the foods that come out of them don't have the same nutritional value that the food that our grandparents ate had. So search for those farmers who are growing and intentionally seeking to build their soil. And then when we talk about organic food, one of the things Carol Sue said was, can we do this on a shoestring? Well, sometimes it's kind of hard to do that, but when you find that you can buy things in season, oftentimes you can buy them for less money, especially if buying them locally, because you can find an abundance and there's some competitiveness going on. But sometimes it's not really possible for you to buy organic product. Sometimes you'll want to buy organic because it's the best choice you can make. So the Environmental Working Group is an organization, a nonprofit organization that provides us with really great information about this. You can sign up. You're going to get a link to sign up, and you can get this guide that's easy for you to print out. It's a pictorial guide that you can put in your pantry. I have it posted on my cupboard, and I can look at this list anytime I want. So this is their Dirty Dozen list. These are the things that you should try to buy organic, because they really have either a lot of pesticide use, or the pesticide is not something that can really be washed off. It's inherent in the tissue of the product that you're buying. And you can see that that's true of a lot of fruits. And in addition to fruits, peppers, celery, well, tomatoes are considered a fruit. So you can see heavy on the fruits here, and also on some of the brassicas, and here's spinach. But the good news is that you can also go conventional, just not worry about organic, with a number of products. And there's a Clean 15 list. So the Clean 15 list has great things on it. Avocados, thank goodness they're expensive enough. You can buy avocados without buying organic avocados. And asparagus, same thing. And these brassicas, this broccoli and cauliflower and cabbage and mushrooms. So many things that you don't really have to worry about that. So I'll just take a pause here and ask you if you have questions or comments about this that you've seen. Have you ever seen this before?
Yes. I want to ask you something. When you see a package, should you look at the sugar or and the carbs both, or just the sugar?
Well, that's a great question. Let me see how I can answer that. When you're looking at, I would look at also the ingredient list. So for instance, if you're looking at a package that has high carbohydrates, what form of carbohydrates? If it's bread, for instance, the first ingredient should say whole wheat or whole grain. If it's, if something else, sugars is very important. So it's a combination of looking at the total, but then also looking at the ingredients so that you can tell whether you're getting a carbohydrate that is refined, like white flour, which doesn't have any nutritional value, or you're getting a complex carbohydrate like a whole grain that has not only the nutritional value, but also the fiber. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, pretty much. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and we talked about providing that one of the things that we need is variety and nutrient density and some balance. So the rule of thumb here is to eat a lot of different things. It will be important for you. And one of the things that I have to remember recently is that I heard about the way that cows eat. We talk about eating meat. The way that cows graze, they eat grass. If they're left to their devices, they will eat grass, but they eat a lot of different things out there in the field. They don't eat just grass. And they eat for nutrition, basically. They just instinctively know. And they eat for phytonutrients. And so we need to do that as well. And that also tells us that we need to be thinking about the meat that we buy and buy better meat. So grass-fed or pastured animals are much healthier than the ones who are given a single monocrop like corn to be raised upon. So just remember, what goes into those meat products is what goes into our bodies.
But it doesn't taste as good when you buy grass-fed Hamburg or ground.
Well, you do have to acquire a little bit of a taste for that. You can season it with salt, good pepper and different flavors, but you can also add a little bit of good fat to that if it's too lean for you. And that has a way to flavor burger a bit too. But it is also, I think, a taste shift, because I recall, now I've been eating grass-fed hamburger for quite some time now, but in the beginning, it of course did not taste as fatty and as juicy to me. But at this point, it's my preferred burger.
What spice, if you don't want to add spice or something mild besides pepper, what can you add to it? Anything else, or just a little butter? Anything else?
Well, you could add a little bit of butter, actually. That would be fine if you eat a good grass-fed butter. And then
grass-fed butter. Is that different than regular butter? Grass-fed butter, does it taste different, or?
No, it doesn't taste different. It's just.
Oh, you buy grass-fed butter. I never thought of that.
So anybody season their burgers in a way that would maybe jazz things up for Claire? Any suggestions? Well, if you have
add garlic.
Add some garlic, onion powder, garlic.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Or real garlic.
Real garlic. Mm-hmm. Chopped garlic. Okay, so tips to eat healthy for less. Shop the perimeters. That's where the least packaged things are, ostensibly the freshest foods, with the exception of frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables are actually a very good choice because they are frozen at the time of picking, so that they retain their nutrient value and they haven't been degraded. As soon as a vegetable's picked, there are enzymes that go to work at degrading that. So the faster it can be frozen or eaten from the time that it's picked, the better, and the more nutritious. And then eat eaten by what's in season and what's in your pantry. So there are many websites out there now that you can use, like this one. That is, this is a website I'm going to send you with several apps you can use. These are all cooking apps, recipe apps, and they are all built for you to be able to go in. If I click on this number 3, it's going to take me to Big Oven. Well, maybe it is. Let me try that again. I don't think I clicked on the link there. There we go. Where you can actually put in an ingredient that you have or want to buy and get recipe inspiration.
Huh.
So what's in season right now is asparagus. And you might go in and click on asparagus and find many, many different recipes for asparagus. Or you might have beans in your cupboard and you could do the same thing. Type in beans and get a lot of recipes. Incidentally, I have a class spotlight on asparagus where all we do is talk about asparagus recipes. That's coming up tomorrow. Probably the most important thing you can do to have a healthy diet is to plan ahead and to make a list. And there are lots of electronic ways of doing that. I'm actually working on getting you all connected with a meal planning app that the folks are going to come in and talk about how to do it. And in the meantime, however, I'm going to send you this list of this handout of tools that helps you to do a handwritten meal plan and a pantry inventory. There are multiple 10 pages here of planning and organizing for your meals, but planning ahead is really important. So once a week, take an hour, plan your meal, make your grocery list, and what a great way to save money. Because what's the worst thing after going to the grocery store hungry?
Buying too much?
Yeah, going without a list. So you go without a list and anything's fair game, but when you go with a list, you seem to have more of a laser focus to get just what you need. We talked about buying better meat. So grass-fed or organic meats is really pretty good. So you might think about how you could lessen the amount of meat if you're looking to save money. We talk about maybe eating meat as more of a condiment or as a mix, think stir fry, where we're eating a lesser portion of meat and we're beefing up our vegetables. It's not only a money-saving thing, but it's wise because we're getting much better quality of, we're getting many more vegetables in our diet that way. And then how many of you use coupons? Anybody use coupons?
Yeah, I use coupons.
Yep, you do or you don't?
They call me Coupon Carolyn.
Coupon Carolyn. Okay. Well, Coupon Carolyn, if you have anything that you could share in the chat as far as any websites or tools that you use for coupons, would you please share that?
Okay, I just mostly read the food ads every week and I base what I'm gonna eat on what's there.
Okay, good strategy. So I wonder if you've ever seen this app. Have you ever seen anything called Flip? Not Clip, Flip. It could be called Clip. Flip is a website and an app as well that you can use to electronically view all of the flyers for the stores in your local area. So I wonder if, let's see, Carolyn, can you give me your zip code?
Sure, it's California 95355.
So when I type in your zip code and click on start saving, what I should see, and you'll tell me if I'm right, are all the stores that are in your area. Now, this shows that there are stores of all sorts, but I'm going to go over here and click on groceries and just get the grocery stores or the stores that sell food. So I see that there's a Save Mart and a Walmart and Do these look like your stores? O'Brien's and Supermercado and Sprouts. Are they your, they look like your grocery store. There's a Raley's. Carolyn? Carolyn, are these your stores?
Whoops, it helps if I unmute. Yes, there is one trick I found, and I don't know if Food Max, MAXX, is national. I'm thinking maybe not because it's an outlet for Save Mart, but you can take all your ads in and they will price match. And
there's
so
one.
instead of running around to all these places, you can go one place. They do not honor if it's a Friday special or a Monday special, things like that. And I think they may limit, but oh my gosh, you could save a ton and go one place. So I just put the items for that ad in one part in the grocery cart and then just lay the paper right over it and tell them when I'm going to check out, I'm going to price match.
Wow, that is a great tip. And I wonder too. So Food Max, check it to
Yes.
see if there's.
It's the discount
App?
cousin to Save Mart,
Okay.
which is kind of local in California too.
And here is the Save Mart flyer, which you can look at in detail.
Right.
And find out what's for sale. So lots of times the produce is on for sale without coupons. And that's, if you're not a coupon clipper, you might find a lot of your fresh foods are on special without need for a coupon. But if you want coupons, you can also clip.
But Raley's had large ones, 5 for $5 on their Monday ad. So I just came from there.
Oh, nice. Okay, good tips for that. Coupons.com, Carol Scott has said, Carol Sue has said, coupons.com. Sandra says no coupons. And that's why I think Flip is helpful, because it allows you to look at the things that are on special in each of those stores and gear yourself toward going to those stores and not clipping coupons.
I actually even trained a guy who's my next door neighbor that he could save a ton of money doing that.
Nice. That's really good and helpful information. I wonder, and I hope that more people have a Food Max in their area. I had not ever heard of that before.
Is
So
that
gives
an
you a
app?
choice.
Flip, is that an app or a website?
Both.
So is it worth getting the app on your phone or just use?
Why don't you try the website and use it as a planning tool for a time or two, see if you like it, and then download the app. I'll send that.
Does
one
it
to
give you the coupon or just the price of the item or both?
You can have, there's a coupon section as well. So
Oh.
there's the circular and the coupons.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Uh-huh. So
One
shop
thing-
sales and stock up.
One
Okay.
thing you might try is some of your local grocery stores back there. Tell them about what Food Max does, and it might prompt them to start doing it.
Good suggestion.
And
So-
I do use my phone to show them what items are on sale, because some stores no longer do a paper ad.
Mhm.
And as long as it will show the date, and sometimes I have to take 2 pictures, as long as it shows the end date, they'll take it.
Fantastic. Good advice, and we'll check that out even more. Okay, so we're going to shop the sales and stock up, and we're going to think about maybe buying dried beans, because those are the double whammy. You can save money and reduce sodium there. Just to give you a rough idea, a heaping cup of dried beans is equal to about a 15-ounce can of beans. So when you think about making dried beans, you can make, let's see, for about a pound of dried beans, which is equal to 2 cups, you can get 8 cans. Am I doing that right? 8 cans of beans. Or 4 cans of beans. At any rate, 4 cans of beans.
2 cups of dry beans equals 4 cans.
No, 1/2 cup, 1 cup of dried beans is equal to 3 cups of cooked beans. And
Wow.
that means that's 2 cans. 2 cans, and 2 cups of dried beans is equal to a pound. So it's 4 cans, not 8 cans. 4 cans of beans. So roughly for the same price of a pound of 4 cans of beans, you can get a pound of dried beans, roughly.
But you lose all the sodium.
But you lose all the sodium, which would be great. You will have to cook your beans with a little bit of sodium, but not nearly what you used when you were buying them processed. So let's get into some recipe ideas, because I know that's one of the things that you were interested in. And I want to give you an example of eating in season. So we're talking about buying things that are local, trying to find your farmers, your farmers markets. If you live in an area, if you happen to be fortunate enough to live in an area where you can get out into the countryside and look for some farm stands or look at some farmers markets, or even have neighbors who are growing food, like Sandra and I do. We grow lots of veggies. I probably have a chance to grow a few more than she does with where I live, but I grow the zucchini. My neighbor grows the corn. I grow the onions and the green peppers here, but we have farmers who do that. And if you can buy them locally when they're in season, they're less money. So what did I make here? I made this recipe, chicken breast with tomato gorgonzola salsa, but I found boneless chicken thighs, and I'm using those instead because they were on sale. I got a whole pack of those for, I think it was $6, and they were organic. So my meal cost very little. This was 1 serving. And my recipe was this. I salt and peppered the chicken, and I could grill that or pan fry it. One thing I do differently on this recipe that doesn't call for is I'd probably rub this chicken with a little bit of olive oil and put some garlic, put some other seasonings on it, and let it sit for about ½ an hour. It just would flavor it better. And then I'm making a salsa out of chopped tomato, red onion, fresh basil, olive oil, a little kosher salt, all in season. And when the chicken is done, what I do is spoon that salsa over top and put a little bit of gorgonzola cheese on top of that. It's very delicious.
How much longer does it take, or less time, if it's boneless versus its bone thigh?
It really takes less time.
For boneless, 5 minutes less, would you say?
Oh, no, I would think when I make it, I think in the pan, a boneless chicken thigh would only take you about 20 minutes. It's probably double that if you have the bone in, I'm guessing.
Oh, okay.
But it
But
really
in the
is
oven, in the oven, it's different probably.
In the oven, 20 minutes is what I've done the chicken thighs in.
In boneless.
Yes, boneless.
The other one might be half an hour. And what about, yeah, you mentioned one salmon in foil. I went to the other class, and regular salmon. How much longer is it if it's in foil, or is it the same as if it's not foil, with a packet, in, everything inside the vegetable? Does it take?
In a foil packet, it takes between 15 and 20 minutes.
And without it, what would it take, the same amount? Without the foil?
It might take a little longer.
Longer.
Because it gets poached, and the heat really builds up and it steams that fish
in the foil.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So then the corn salad is a really easy dish and very inexpensive in the summertime because you're using corn on the cob, and that corn on the cob doesn't even have to be cooked. 3/4 of a cup of light sour cream. I use yogurt, Greek yogurt. That's a healthy addition. Light sour cream is too. A little bit of Worcestershire sauce, a little bit of seasoned salt, chopped red bell pepper, chopped green onions, and mix it up. Let it sit for a while so that those flavors blend. And you have a delicious and very crunchy salad. Again, you do not need to cook that corn. You can blanch it if you like, but keep it crispy. And then the steamed zucchini recipe is just a recipe with a nice vinaigrette on it, basically, that I mixed up here using parsley, shallots, basil, capers, lemon rind, oregano, olive oil, and some lemon juice. So mix all that together, slice your zucchini, and then toss this on top. Now, I do, for some reason, cheese and zucchini just go so well for me. And I like this recipe with a little bit of feta cheese, but you might not want that if you're serving gorgonzola cheese. And either way, it goes together nicely. So we talked about eating less meat. And I have an idea for you there to both eat less meat and increase your intake of vegetables and maybe not even really know it. So this is my salad plate from last summer. This is my taco salad. You see, I'm not a light eater. And so this is a recipe that I'll share with you for how to get more bang for your taco meat. And it's just simply by adding other things to that taco meat. So here in the pan, we're including not just the ground beef, but also to that 1 pound of ground beef, a cup of finely diced onion, diced celery, diced mushrooms, shredded carrots, and then a couple of to 3 tablespoons of taco seasoning mix, whether you make it yourself or whether you purchase it. So you may or may not like all of these vegetables. I would just say that if you are not fond of carrots, maybe you want to double up on the mushrooms or something like that. So this is very variable. You don't even have to do it to this level if you don't want, but the idea being that you can now have some variation, some additional nutrition in your taco meat. You can save money on ground beef. You can freeze this and eat it later. Because what is the most important thing to you when you're eating taco? What do you like about the taco meat? When you eat tacos, if you eat tacos.
Taco shell.
Shell.
Taco shell. Well, what about the meat itself though, or the taco meat? If you have meat in your taco, what is it about that meat? When you really think about eating tacos, is it the flavor of the seasoning? Maybe. I
Yes.
can't necessarily tell whether it's ground chicken or ground turkey. It's the taste of the seasoning. It is the maybe the warmth of it because it's contrast against the other ingredients that are chilled. Maybe it's a texture thing. So all of those things can be had by using a simple recipe that expands upon the meat and gives you some additional vegetables. So there's an idea for you for using less meat. And does anybody do Meatless Monday right now?
No.
Another way to lessen your grocery bill is to try
Green chili.
that's meat light. So this is a slow cooker vegetarian lentil or chili, and it is very filling. Uses a number of different kinds of beans and lentils.
For tacos, I often buy the rotisserie chickens at Costco. I eat some meat off those and then I debone and I pre-season and dump in the fridge, and easy to make.
Easy. So you just sprinkle them with a little taco seasoning, and when you
Yep.
warm it up, it's ready to go. I like that idea. Yeah, nice. Thanks for sharing that. Those rotisserie chickens, you can get a lot of mileage out of those, can't you?
When you're talking meat, are you talking poultry as well, or just beef and pork?
No,
And
I am talking beef and poultry, any kind
Okay.
of meat.
Thank you.
So these are the ingredients. This is a simple chili, and this can all go into the slow cooker with everything all dumped in. It's a dumping kind of meal. So here are a few additional ideas I'll throw out to you. Some of them have a recipe, some don't. This is a recipe for egg salad. Anybody like egg salad here? kind of an egg. I'm kind of an egg and olive.
Love
person.
it.
Yeah, so you might
Yes, I love it
I
too.
like it.
you might like this. Now this is one with no mayonnaise. And so you think about mayonnaise, especially when you buy it at the store. I mean, it's not really the greatest thing for you. There are worse things, but you can improve the health profile of your egg salad here by using avocado instead of mayonnaise. So now you're getting omega-3s and you're getting the fiber of the avocado. And this recipe calls for 3 hard-boiled eggs. You can trim this down a little bit because one warning that I have for you is that if you're not eating it all or serving it all at one time, it doesn't taste the greatest left over. I think we've all had experiences if we've eaten avocados that they just don't taste the same the next day. Same thing here, but this is a delicious recipe if you want to just have a fresh tasting egg salad. This one uses some dill weed, a little bit of parsley, some Dijon mustard. You can really follow the principle and make the egg salad the way that you enjoy it with the seasonings that you like. I like my mustard in there. I don't necessarily like dill weed, so I wouldn't necessarily put that in there, but I would load up on olives, and olives are very healthy foods for us because, again, just like olive oil, they have omega-3 fatty acids. So you might give that a try. If you don't find that it has enough holding it together, use a little bit of mayonnaise, but you don't need to use nearly as much.
Deb, I
What
wonder
type of-
how to work with deviled eggs. There's a filling for deviled eggs.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't see why not, but you'd just not be able to, it wouldn't keep for a really long time. So it would be something you'd stuff them and eat them and be done with them.
What's good with chicken salad? Oh, sorry.
What's that?
Which can you add to chicken salad besides mayonnaise?
Well, let's see. What can you add to chicken salad besides mayonnaise?
Sour cream.
You can add a little, you could always cut your mayonnaise in half and use some sour cream or some Greek yogurt in there to help that. Even a little bit of cream can help that a little bit.
Thank you.
This is a bit of a, Carol Sue, did you want to say something?
Oh, no.
Okay. This is a treat that I really enjoy. If you've ever seen Syrian flatbread, or there's a lot of flatbreads out there. This happens to be a whole grain one. Check the ingredients on the back. Make sure you have a short list of ingredients that you know what they are. And that whole grain is at the front of the ingredient list. Then you're good to go. And these whole grain lavash breads make great flatbread pizzas. What I like to do is put them in the oven, crisp them up a little bit, and then put the toppings on. So pizza sauce and whatever I might like. I have black olives on here. I have some spinach on here and different kinds of cheeses, whatever I might have in the.
Do you put a little olive oil on before you put it in the oven?
No, I might drizzle a little olive oil over the top, but no, I don't, but you could. That would be very good. You could also do an olive garlic. You know, if you put some infused garlic in your olive oil, or you infuse some garlic in your olive oil, you could rub that over your pizza, put it in there, and then when you got it out, you could put your toppings on. So that would be very tasty. Good idea.
How high would the oven be, and for how long would you cook it put it in the oven?
I've done these for 400 degrees for maybe 10 minutes, but
Thank you.
yeah, I check it along the way. You really have to do this to taste, because I like mine kind of really crispy. So that's why I put it in and maybe bake it for a few minutes, 8 to 10 minutes first. And then I put the toppings on and I put it back in just until these things are melted and that this doesn't burn. So you play it by ear a little bit and to your taste.
How would you make grilled cheese in the oven?
How would I make grilled cheese in the oven?
Yeah.
Well, I think that I would do it so you would put it on a pan, you'd butter both sides of the bread, of course, put it in the pan and let it bake for a while and then flip it over, see how it looks on the other side. You know, it should start to brown. I've never done it before. So has anybody made grilled cheese in the oven?
I've done it in an air fryer.
In an air fryer? Okay.
Yep, they're easy. I think in the oven you'd have to broil each side because I mean,
Yes.
then it's not a grilled cheese sandwich, it's a baked cheese sandwich.
Oh, it would be a baked cheese sandwich. It wouldn't be grilled, but yeah, you could start it in the oven and finish it off in the broiler because the broiler might not be enough. Well, it might melt the cheese. Yeah.
The butter make it soggy though, the bread?
The butter?
Yeah. If
No,
you use
not
like
if you're
toast bread.
not if you're grilling it or broiling it. It would be like when you make garlic bread in the oven. Have you ever done that with spaghetti?
No.
Okay, you can put butter and garlic on bread, French bread, Italian bread.
Oh,
and
that
put
type
it
of bread.
in a
Not,
plate or broil
not
it.
sandwich, not like Pepperidge Farm toast bread. Not toast bread, white bread. We use wheat anyway.
Yeah, it would be kind of like those toast breads that you do buy in the freezer and they're ready to go and you just pop them in and bake them.
Right.
Deb, instead of taking in butter on my grilled cheese to get it really crispy, taking brown, I use a really thin layer of mayonnaise. Nothing to, not a real lot, just enough to take in and like a wish and a promise, okay?
Uh-huh.
Stop, and then on the bread, and it toasts really nice.
Oh, that's a great suggestion. Anna, I see you're shaking your head about that. You do that. Can you unmute yourself and add to that? No? Yeah, you're just saying, yeah. Okay, well, we have an enthusiastic second there with Anna. Thank you. You're trying to unmute yourself. Okay,
I agree. It's very, very good.
you like it? You,
Oh, it's very crispy.
okay, there we go.
Yes.
So it's a little bit of that egg, I guess, in the mayonnaise that helps that crisp up. as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
So this is my last piece for you. I'm going to send this along. I'm just going to show you what I'm going to send you, and then you'll be able to experiment with this to your heart's content. Chia seeds are very healthy for us, have a lot of fiber, have a lot of omega-3 fatty acids. They're also best for us once they've been plumped up or hydrated. They hydrate like tapioca. So this is really thinking about making puddings like we make tapioca pudding. And there's 32 recipes for chia seed puddings using all manner of ingredients. So don't they look delicious? And the options are endless. So get to work, ladies, making some chia seed pudding. And now you can feel good having some fresh treats that are good for you too. So that brings us to the end of our session. We covered quite a bit. I told you it was going to be a packed session with a lot going on. And I would like you to let me know if there's something here that I should slow down on and maybe build out as a separate session or another class on healthy eating topics that you might be interested in, things you want to know or know more about. I'd be happy to take a look at that. And anybody want to say what a biggest takeaway was today out of this session?
I really like that pizza. Now I'm hungry. So I'm going to try that, the flat pizza. I never thought of doing that with that kind of bread.
Yeah, it's really delicious and they are so good and crispy. I hope you like it, Sandra. Let me know.
Oh, Deb,
Yeah,
I did a quick check on, and then I can't say whether it's average and when this was done, but they suggested that to feed an adult in America is approximately the low average, let's put it that way. They had some higher prices, is $7 to $8 a day.
okay, $7 to $8.
That sounds really, really cheap.
It
But
does.
the other thing that we don't know is I would think the cost of feeding an adult would depend on their work.
Oh, how much they eat in a day?
If they're factory, if you're sitting at a desk all day and you run a mile, it might be different than if you're out using a sledgehammer and building houses.
That's very true. Bigger appetite. If you're male or female, it's pretty tough.
And it would require more, you'd
Mhm.
have to feed that body differently.
Yeah, thanks for looking that up, Laura. That's interesting. Okay, so keep in mind, spotlight on asparagus, great spring meals, spotlight on strawberries, all of that's coming. Pam Penny is going to be helping us learn about making scones on Wednesday. She'll be joining me. And I always
Sounds good.
do soups from scratch classes. So I have 3 different ones happening right now. And we'll soon be doing a 4th on chilled soups. And you're going to get the notes for all of these recipes right after class. So look for your email. Give me some feedback about the session. Go to the schedule, book another class. Let your friends know about these classes. And as always, you can invite a friend from anywhere, whether you're going to that email or you're signing up for another class on the desktop or on the mobile app. There's always that option. And actually, I have somebody who comes, some of you may know, Alberta comes to a lot of my classes. She's visiting a friend this week out of town, another state, and she's going to teach her Zoom things, computer things, and get her hooked up get her set up so that she can join Alberta in cooking classes later. So helpitgetsetup.io is your go-to for any of these things. And if you would like any help or want to talk about anything after the class, I'll be here for a few moments. I'm going to talk with Laura, but anybody else is welcome to also hang around. And I want to thank you so much. I hope that you have a great rest of your day. And I hope that you'll join me for future classes.
Thank you.
Well, thank you.
A class where you had like cooking, maybe like 4 ingredients or less might be a good idea or something like that.
Okay.
Oh, one other thing, Deb,
Yes.
what about treats for pets?
Oh,
Oh God, treats for pets.
wow. That would be interesting, wouldn't it?
Isn't there something on there for pets, but I don't remember if it's treats or not.
I'll have to check that out. Maybe reach out to somebody else in the community who
Maybe
does
it's
that.
something else. Yeah, I don't remember.
Thank you. So feel free to stay, feel free to go, but thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
I just read your email. You're right. But I forget about that. You're talking with people all over the world.
Yes, and I have been putting in those emails Eastern time, and for some reason, for whatever
I
reason,
didn't pick up on it.
I didn't put it in the email either. So that was my fault. So let's think about that and when we might be able to reschedule. I don't think this
Okay.
week is going to work, so we're going to have to look a little further out.
Okay.
But that's okay, because you have Norman and you're going to talk about
Yes.
groups, right?
Yes.
So maybe we can look, let me get my calendar.
I'm going to check with Norman and make sure we're talking about the right times.
Yes, that would be good, because he's in New
Yeah.
York.
Is Norman New York?
Yes, he is. Mhm.
Okay.
So we might look, I'm going to say, let's look at the week of May 3rd. Do you want to send me or tell me some times? If you can either tell me now of some good days or time frames so I can look at my schedule. Not May 3rd, I'm sorry, June. Did I say May? June.
Yes,
the week of
but I
June
know you
7th.
meant June.
The week of June 7th would be the best.
June 7th?
The week
Okay, that's a Monday.
of. Uh-huh.
June 7th is a Monday and I don't have anything going. So
Okay, so
you tell me what works for you.
Let me work out something and send you June.
Good. And send me an email and I'll remember it's Eastern time.
Well, I'll put it in the email as such. Too. All right. Thanks, Laura. Thanks for your.
Sounds great. Good
coming again.
class.
Thank you.
All righty. Have a good day.
You
Bye-bye.
too, Laura. Bye-bye. Thank you, John.
You're welcome. Goodbye.
Bye-bye. What happened to the chat?